war never ends, including in the most controversial and most hated war of all time, the console wars. Now yes, everyone does not like the console wars because it acts very childish. The console wars is between Nintendo, PlayStation, and Xbox. These three companies seem to hate each other so much, but why? Overall, it's just our opinions on console companies. Because PlayStation fans are always gonna defend PlayStation, Xbox fans are gonna help Xbox, and Nintendo, well, they got this. I, like me, am a big console fan. Yeah, you might know that because we all love consoles. But when our current generation of the console wars came out, things got so childish. So a console war is basically a war, but more childish. And with consoles. Now yes, even though this does feel childish, with PlayStation, Xbox, where we fight each other, maybe they're little kids. Well, guess what? They are literally full-grown adults of famous companies! And these adults are still fighting with their children! However, the console wars were never like this. We need to go back to the year 1980. So it's 1980. Some Nintendo boy was coding a game for the NES. And some Nintendo boy was coming back with terrible news. Sega was making a ripoff to Nintendo's NES called the SG-1000. This began the console wars of Nintendo and Sega. But of course, we all know Nintendo was gonna win this first generation. However, it did help Sega find out what they should do for their next console. And so in 1989, they released the Sega Genesis, which is their most and will always be most successful console. But they still cannot even beat Nintendo with their Super Nintendo. So Sega will keep losing. And then in 1994, the PlayStation 1 came out. And it pulled Nintendo out of the throne. However, Sega needed to make a successor to the terrible Sega Saturn. So they made the Sega Dreamcast. And unfortunately, the console only got 9 million copies sold. So it completely pulled Sega out of the console market. Never making consoles ever again. And in 2000, Microsoft has entered the console wars. But they did not know their first console would be a failure. And with a DVD player and better games on the PS2, the PS2 became the best-selling console in the entire world with 160 million copies sold. Nintendo's console at that time, the GameCube, sold poorly, 22 million copies sold. But when they only focused on fun with the Wii, they managed to pass the PlayStation and Xbox with 100 million copies sold. But then the next console, the Wii U, reached 13 million copies sold. However, the war was now getting on with the Xbox 360 and PlayStation 3. Which one sold better? The PS3 sold better. And then Xbox console started to go downhill, which made the war more serious and more childish. But it's nothing compared to what's now. The companies are now childish, even though their consoles are selling kind of poorly. Nintendo is back on track to becoming the king of gaming again. Well, now you know what a console war is. But before we end the video, I have to talk about my history with consoles, because I have a big history with consoles. Once upon a time, in 2013, I got my first console, Wii. I played the classics like Wii Sports Resort, which was the only game I played on that console. I loved my Wii a lot, and I still love it up to this day. It was just the perfect start console for me. Even on how hard it was to literally point the Wii remote to where it was supposed to go to. And then in 2017, I got the Nintendo Switch. And this console is actually better than the Wii now, having classics like Mario Kart 8 Deluxe and Animal Crossing New Horizons. Oh wait a second, these aren't classics, these are moderns. The new revolution, the new games, and all the awesome stuff literally made the Switch better than the Wii. Then in 2019, I got 4 consoles: original Xbox, NES, SNES, and PS1, which doesn't even work. Now it would start getting hard on which consoles I like more: retro consoles or modern consoles. And then I decided to not like classic consoles, and I like the modern consoles more than the classics. And then last year, 2024, I went to GameStop and I had 2 console choices. I could get Xbox Series S or a PS5. I had only one option to do, so I went with the Xbox Series S. When I first got my Xbox Series S, I enjoyed it a lot. But nowadays, I find the console boring and blah blah blah. Just not my thing now. However, I also had a Switch, so now it was much harder to find out what console I can now play with 2 consoles. This cannot have a happy ending with 2 consoles. Brutal. But then, in summer of 2024, everything changed. Because I bought something I want for a long time. I bought myself a Wii U. So what did I think of it? I loved it. I loved it to death. Oh, I think the 2DS is cool too. But man, this Wii U is fantastic. When I built my Wii U, I just love seeing all those Mii's running around, talking to each other. And I just also love playing the games like, well, Super Mario Maker. So that goes to show that we all have different opinions. Even if you're a PlayStation fan or Xbox fan, we all have different opinions on console. So we really don't need a console war. We could just have fun with PlayStation, Xbox, or Nintendo. Well, that was today's video. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Subscribe, turn on notifications, like, comment, and Happy New Year!